Well, this isn't gonna work.
This video is kindly sponsored by MPB.
Hello, thank you for joining me today in South Wales, where the weather cannot make up its mind. I chose the wrong week to decide to come and stay here for a couple of days, as last minute we suddenly had a heat wave, and so the past few days have just been very, very hot, cloudless, busy. Everybody's out enjoying the last bit of summer, and surprisingly today it's still very, very warm, but it's gone extremely cloudy, which is sort of making this stunning view quite bland. There's plenty of foreground subject up here, from these rocks to ferns and heather and sort of the curves and lines in the landscape. It adds colour, it adds contrast, it adds direction, but the problem is the payoff at the end is not enough. I have checked the weather apps and this cloud is not shifting at all today, so there's no hope of any colour or texture, detail, anything in that sky. So I guess we're going to have to put this into the idea bank for another day and go for a wander and see if we can find inspiration elsewhere instead. I don't know about you guys, but I'm an introverted photographer, so I tend to choose locations that are very quiet, that I can pretty much just have to myself. And I'd say I'm probably 90% a daytime photographer, because I like to spend as much time on location as possible. I like to contemplate, I like to relax, I like to be present with whatever location or subject I'm photographing, and with my photography I tend to go into sort of a meditative state where I'm just absolutely at peace. And with all that in mind, I don't know why I chose to come here today because these trails are so busy with everybody enjoying this lovely weather that I cannot get in the zone for photography, and just not finding motivation or inspiration while I'm too busy sort of dodging people and making sure that I'm not in other people's way. So yeah, this was not one of my best ideas. No idea what the plan is. Well, seeing as I don't have a plan, I thought I'd come and visit a waterfall that I tried to photograph earlier this year, but I was losing the light. I didn't get to spend a lot of time here. So while it's cool and quiet and the sun hasn't yet reached over this cliff, I think we'll grab a shot of this absolutely gorgeous waterfall. So we've got the 16 to 35mm on the 850. I'm going wide to capture the vastness of this waterfall. Tumbling down these rocks is absolutely beautiful. But I also want to include some of the surrounding landscape and nature to give the impression, or sort of show you, how this waterfall is tucked away in this secret bit of woodlands. I've also got a polarizing filter on to reduce the highlights on the wet rocks down in the bottom there. We are going to tinker with this composition. I'm going to take this shot and then we're going to try and improve it. My eye's been drawn to those clumps of foam down in the bottom, and I find them quite distracting. I don't like how that bottom bit looks. It feels very, very messy to me, so we're going to see what we can do about that. I'm going to try out a lower angle, so cut off the bottom of that pool where it meets that pool, and instead fill the bottom of the image with this mossy and grassy bank. I have also switched out my tripod as the center column was just getting in the way trying to get that low angle, and although this looks ridiculous, it actually is much easier to set up and photograph. I think I'm going to prefer this image in comparison to the first shot that we took, but I'm going to have to pop back here in autumn because I think this would just look amazing with all of those autumn colours, but also as these leaves start dropping off the trees, we may be able to get some more interesting angles and perspectives looking through all of these trees. Chest harnesses just look ridiculous, don't they? So I did take a couple of extra images off camera, and I didn't go through or show you the process of those because I'm not too sure about them, but also the ground is just very uneven and rocky, and I did not trust that I could coordinate filming and photography gear successfully, so you'll have to forgive me for not showing you those. If I don't like the images, I probably won't put them in, which means that you're just watching me right now, putting my GoPro on, because we are going to head back up and go and explore somewhere else, I think, as the sun has now come out and the trail is getting busy.
I went for a relaxing drive for inspiration, regretting having taken the route through the narrow country roads very, very quickly. But eventually I found somewhere new to explore.
I spotted this river while I was driving past, and I stopped to take a look, and I didn't really think it was going to be anything special, but actually this could be spectacular with a lot more rain, a lot more water coming down here. This has a lot of potential, especially with all of these hills in the background as well. I think we're going to explore around here a bit and see what we can find. The sun is out, it is hot, it is bright. We're going to take a test shot here because I think there's potential. I quite like these two falls together. That top cascade isn't really enough by itself today. I feel as though this scene definitely needs a bit more water, a bit more drama, maybe some autumn tones dotted around. That would be really, really nice. So we're going to take this shot and review it, and definitely come back here to have a go at this again. I'm using my viewfinder because it's so bright that I can't see a single thing on the LCD screen without sort of doing this. I did use a polarizing filter and a 3-stop ND filter just to slow down that water slightly. And because it's such a bright day, I needed that ND filter to help me achieve the shutter speed that I wanted. I didn't show you this because I failed to bring the correct step-up ring for this lens. So my filter holder kit will not go on here. So I very awkwardly just sort of held it in front of the lens instead, which is probably not the best idea, but it did work, so. And for those who are wondering why on earth I have a Z6 II in my hand, I am going to let you in on the secret now. My original idea for this trip was I was going to spend a few days hiking. I really want to start hiking again. I want to start a hiking project. And my kit is pretty heavy and bulky at times, and I really didn't want to lug that up a mountain. So I asked NPB, and I borrowed a Z6 II with a 24-200mm lens. And seeing as we had a heat wave roll in, I did decide against going hiking. So I'm, trying to make use of this anyway, but this is just slightly lighter, slightly more compact, and I would want my camera bag for hiking to be as pretty lightweight as possible. So seeing as this is a project I do want to start and do every so often, I'm going to ask you guys for your camera recommendations. Now, I'm not replacing my kit, I just want to make that obvious before people panic. But I do want to try out and search for a lightweight travel kit that would be good for my hiking. So if you have any recommendations of camera bodies and lenses, it doesn't have to be full frame, it could be micro 4/3, it could be absolutely anything. Pop them down in the description box down below, and each time I go hiking, I will pick one of them. I will loan whatever it is, rent it, borrow it from somebody, and try it out, and eventually see if I can find the perfect lightweight travel camera gear for me. That's the plan. We could probably go much lighter and smaller than this. This is just the first thing that popped into my head when I had this idea. So yeah, anything better, do let me know.
I did push on to the next fall, only the sun wasn't in the best place at this point in the day, shrouding the waterfall in shadow. Noting it for future inspiration in alternative light, I headed back to the road for a quick break from the sun before seeing what else the day had in store.
I've been wandering these pathways in what feels like the middle of nowhere, but the views are spectacular. I really like this winding pathway that leads your eye into this landscape here. We've got some beautiful mountains in the background there, but where's the light gone? Earlier on we had too much sun and now we just don't have enough. They're sort of blending into the sky. There's not a huge amount of detail or light happening over there. I don't think this cloud is shifting. I think it's coming in for the night, to be honest. I don't even have Wi-Fi, so I can check what the weather's doing. But I know that this morning, it did not say that we were getting this much cloud this afternoon. Nope, I thought a polarizer might bring out a bit more detail or reduce that haze just a little bit, but no, it's not really doing much. Yeah, worth a try. Well, it's been a day of a lot of ideas. I can't say that I don't have future inspiration. I have a lot of ideas in the bank. So we definitely haven't come away empty-handed today. Although I do think the Z7, or no, not the Z7, the 750 and the 850, we're jealous of the Z6, which they should be. I've got the Z7 on mine for some reason. And they were telling me, no, Courtney, don't do it, don't use it. And yeah. Thank you MPB anyway for allowing me to borrow this camera today, and also thank you MPB for sponsoring today's video. MPB is the most reliable platform that I have used to buy, sell or trade in my used video and photo kit. It's the first place I go to if I need to pick up some new gear and if I want to sell on some old used kit that's taking up room in my camera bag. It's really easy to do an instant quote with MPB, so let's do one together as I've decided to part ways with my Sigma macro lens. Head on over to mpb.com, click instant quote and type in the make and model of whatever it is that you're selling. Select the condition and then pop in your details and pick a date. Confirm, box it up, let them take it away. It's a pretty easy, effortless and convenient process. If you want to give it a try yourself, then I'll leave the links for MPB down in the description box below. And thank you once again to MPB for sponsoring today's video. Right, it is the next morning and I'm about to drive back to England, so I just want to say thank you so much for watching this video and I'll see you next time. I think the weather next week is looking much cooler, but potentially quite rainy, so who knows what we're going to get up to.